On a morning still tracing its first light, Yusuf sat alone with a cup of coffee that seemed smaller than usual, as if a dark inked piece of sky had been pressed into porcelain. The cup was not merely a means to wake his body, it was a mirror, an invitation, a small missive from another world. Steam rose from the surface like a caravan of silent memories, not only his own, but the city's, its streets, the faces that passed like images on an old screen. Each breath of steam carried a question. Who are you when nobody is watching? Why does bitterness cling to you, the way fingers cling to precious things? He reached for the cup. He did not lift it only to drink, but to open a door. His face reflected in the black liquid, yet the reflection was warped by depth, as if the coffee kept the different editions of himself. The reckless youth, the tired man, the child who still knew how to laugh for no reason. The bitterness stood for his failures, the heat for the rash decisions, the coolness that followed for the calm that reads the consequences. He took a short sip, and a single word passed through his mind. Price. Bitter coffee is not punishment, but a transparent pact with memory. It reminds you that beautiful, useful things often come with a taste of pain. He realized that bitterness gives flavor to joy. Without it, sweetness would be meaningless. The dark surface sketched thin lines like old maps. The cup's heart seemed suspended between what was scorched and what was spared. He studied it like an inscription on a sacred stone. Each ring around the bottom resembled a year of his life. Each tiny bubble marked a halt, some of them leaning on the edge of the present to peer backward. Outside the window, time flowed like a train that never stops. Inside the cup, time sighed and loosened, as if something had granted it permission simply to be here. A small moment that asks for nothing. He learned there that the simple act of raising a cup can turn a day into a meditation, a life into a series of choices that hold meaning. When he finished, the cup was not empty. The last layer held meaning, a small stain within, like the core of an old book. He set it down as if closing a letter and smiled, because the cup had taught him an old lesson. Fullness and emptiness are faces of the same soul. Bitterness is not an obstacle to happiness, but one of its stakes. He laid his hand on the empty cup as if touching the heart of the world, then rose. The coffee felt smaller, yet heavier with meaning that could not be measured. As he left, he whispered to a friend not yet born, "Hold your cup slowly. Every sip reveals a chapter of yourself."